Here we have a kick drum. It's a real kick drum. You can tell that because you can hear the other instruments of the kit playing. But you might hear something else about it. It's rather light in the bass, and the reason it's light in the bass is that I've doctored it just a little bit. So here we have a filter which is 24 decibels per octave, you can see there, and it's 120 hertz. So we're only getting the frequencies above round about 120 hertz. And there's a reason for this. What people used to do back in the 1970s and probably the 1980s as well, when they didn't have all this wonderful digital technology, if they had a kick drum that was light in the bass, what they would do is they'd mix in a sine wave of about 60 hertz and trigger it from the kick drum, and that would help beef it up so it could take its full part in the mix. So that's what I'm going to do. So to do that, in my digital audio workstation, which is Pro Tools, but you can use any digital audio workstation you like. There's no preference for any particular one. I'm going to set up a mono auxiliary input, and let's just give it a name. Let's call it sine. Okay, there we go. And we can go to the mix page. It's a bit easier to see on here. On here, I'm going to put a signal generator plugin. So I find that under Other, Signal. I'll turn that down when I mix the video so it doesn't blow out your speakers. Okay, let's just put that down to that was painful. Let's put that down to all the way down to minus infinity. So we're going to have a sine wave of 60 hertz, and I'm going to make that was minus 20 decibels as well. I'm going to make it minus 6 because I don't know what kind of level that I'm going to want. So let's just have a listen to it, and I'll be more careful this time. Okay, so careful on the fader. There it is, wonderful sine wave of 60 hertz. If you can't hear that, this video is going to be completely meaningless to you, and you need to be listening on better speakers or better headphones and earbuds. I don't think they're going to work at all, but let me know if they actually do. So I need to gate it, so we need a gate plug in, and we'll get this from the standard Pro Tools expander gate. So once again, you can use any gate for this. This is an expander gate, so I've got to set it so that it's an actual gate. To do that, the range here, I need to set that to its maximum, which is minus 80. So when the gate is closed, it's attenuating by 80 decibels. And also on the ratio here, it's on 3:1. I'm going to set that to 100:1. So the gate is either open or it's closed, and there's nothing in between. I'm going to set the release, just because I know that's going to be too short. I'm going to set that to 1 second, and we'll just see where we go from there. And the hold, right now I don't know whether I need any hold or not, so I'll set that to its lowest value. The attack, 10 milliseconds, well, we'll see. So I don't want to gate it from the sine wave itself, because the gate's just going to be open all the time, so that's no good at all. So what I'll do is I'll set up a bus here, and we'll send it to bus number 1. And I'll make it pre-fade, and that means the position of this fader won't make any difference, which if you're doing this for real in a mix, that would be important. And I'll set that to 0 dB because there's no real reason to set it to anything else. Now, we need this to trigger the gate, so we can use this. You can see the key input. You can call it a key, a trigger, a side chain. All means the same. We'll call it a key for today because Pro Tools calls it a key. So we'll take that from bus 1. So we now do have a key input, but it's not set yet to trigger from the key. So we've got to go over here, and it says side chain, so it calls it key over this side and side chain over this side, yeah. And switch the key on. So now it will trigger from the key. And we can see we've got a gain reduction of minus 80 going all the way down there. So now we can start trying to trigger this from the kick drum. So I'm not getting anything. Why am I not getting anything? Oh yeah, that's what it did. I typed in 1 and it set it to 1 millisecond instead of 1 second. Okay, here we go again. That's more like it. So we can hear something now. I'll mute the snare drum, but because this is on pre-fade here, it won't affect the trigger to the gate. And we'll listen to what's coming through on the sine wave. Oh, I like it, I like it. Okay, the threshold is a little bit too low when I was messing about with it earlier, so we'll just get a better threshold level. That's better because I wanted to trigger on the kick drum and not on the background instrument, so the threshold will deal with that. I could actually use this low-pass filter, or this HF filter as it's called here, and I can filter out the high frequencies from the side chain, and that might be useful. I'll just give it a go. And we can listen to it here. So the side chain is almost pure kick now. Okay, that's good enough to start off with. So let's start mixing it in and see what we get. I'd say about there, because when it's too high you can hear the sine wave too obviously, and when it's too low it's not doing anything. So round about -15 on this example. So I'll play a little bit and I'll mute and unmute the kick drum itself. Oh sorry, I'll mute and unmute the sine wave so you can hear what difference it's making. Okay, so we can hear this technique. It does work. So there might be more modern ways of doing it. You might get a better result with today's technology. But this is a viable way of beefing up a kick drum, or giving a bass drum more kick. That's the expression I was looking for, giving the bass drum more kick. So let's just try something else. And now we've got a workable solution. We can experiment with some of the parameters. So one of the things which intrigues me is what difference will the frequency make, and it will depend to a certain extent on your monitoring system, what your speakers are like. But I'll just have a little play around with it so you can hear what the different frequencies do. That's too high, too high. Not bad, not bad. That does still work. I'm going to say that 60 Hertz, it does seem to me round about the optimum figure, so I'm going to stick with that. But while we're looking at this signal generator, what we might notice is we have some other waveforms here. So what if I change that to a square wave? What would we get then? I don't think this is going to work very well, but let's see. Okay. No. Okay, for a special effect maybe, but not for any sensible purpose. But all is not lost, because what I can, what I can do here is I can put in an EQ again, and what I'll do is I'll use the low pass filter. I'll put it on 24 decibels per octave, and I can take away those high harmonics of the square wave, which are a little bit irritating. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to take out these bands because I know that people that don't use this particular plugin will find it confusing because, I mean, look at all these controls here. So the fewer bands that I have selected, the more sense it's going to make. And I'm just using the one band at the moment. So let's just try it again. Okay, that's a little bit exaggerated, but I think that the square wave is just giving it a little bit more bite. Oh, yeah. It's just giving a little bit more bite. I could just try these other waveforms. Oh, I like that, the triangle. Yes, I don't mind that at all. But the one that I do want to try is this pink noise here. I could try the white noise as well, but let's go for the pink. Let's mute that. Let's just have a little bit more of that high frequency. And now we'll mix it in. And try muting it. I kind of like that. It's adding a bit of roughness and rawness to the texture, but I think for the most purposes, I think that sine wave's going to be the best for it. Let's just go back to the signal generator again, and let's just try the white noise just to be complete about it. Okay. No, it's that triangle. The triangle is my favourite. So the sine wave works, but I'm going for the triangle. Okay, it's fun. What can I say? It's fun. It's simple to do. It's fun, and it's immensely tweakable. Okay, you can stop watching now. Have you stopped? Because I'm going to go on a little bit further and try some of these parameters on the gate. So let's just listen to the triangle wave. So the things I haven't played with yet are the attack control. So let's just see what a short attack will do. It just gives it an extra bite. Yeah, I like that longer attack, that shorter attack, but we can have a longer attack. No, I like the short. I like the short. So let me just stick to. Oh, it's even shorter than it was before. Oh. Well, the click. And a lot of people try hard to get a kick drum with a click, and there it is. But I'll go back to 1 millisecond. That's my favourite on the attack. So let's go on to the release and just see what we can do here. It could work. What about a longer release? No. Round about 1 second. That's 1,000 milliseconds. That's that mistake I made earlier. Or just a little bit less. Yeah, okay, and just for completeness, let's look at that hold control. What the release does, that's the time it takes for the signal to die away. But the hold control, it keeps it open and then drops immediately. So what I could do, actually, I could set this to the shortest, and we'll set this to 600 milliseconds. Oh, sorry, I muted the wrong one. No. Okay. I'll put a little bit of a release on it just to soften that edge at the end. Okay, okay. Okay, that really is it. That's 70s audio in the 2020 version of the digital audio workstation. You know, I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed doing that. So, see you in the next video.